The porch roof support is now glued into place, and I've gotten the painting done on it. Of course, I had modeled the paint on so that it looked a little more weathered. I did, however, decide to go ahead and give the top rail a good solid coat, because that's going to be protected by the roof, and therefore there shouldn't be any reason for it to have some heavy weathering on it. The columns, however, definitely do have a bit of modeling to the paint, just to show that they are a bit weathered. I now need to turn my attention to these two doors going into the main shop area of the barrel company. In the directions, we're given this little sheet and told to glue the wooden pieces directly onto here and use this sheet as the doors. And I had cut the bottom part off of this already. And then I started thinking about it. I need to see if I can find something. So when I was at the train show, I found wooden doors, and I was going to use these wooden freight doors for the openings, and they are the right size. However, because of the way that this was made, you can see that on the casting itself, it's got this outer frame, and the frame is included in the overall size, and that is the space that I have. And of course, there's already the trim and the frame of the door there. So if I were to cut all that off, it would actually be too small. And even if I left it on there, this door is a small door on the one side, big door on the other, which is not a problem. I like that. But the bolt that is on here that's cast into the overall casting, if I were to cut this open along this line here, I would cut through that bolt detail. This really isn't designed to be cut open and made into a set of open doors. It's actually designed to stay closed. So I'm not going to be using that as much as I would like to, and that had been the plan. So what I'm going to actually do is make my own door backings using some of the same material that I used for the floor, and cut this to the correct length. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. So I have my two door blanks cut. Now it's just a matter of using the wood stock here to be able to create the framework of each of the doors that will then go in. Now, the way this is designed, it's so that the door is closed. I am going to ultimately split it down the center so that I can have the doors swung open, so that you'll still be able to see inside. So that's the next thing that needs to get done. The doors are coming along. This has actually been quite a simple little process of cutting the material and gluing that in place. And I did actually, as I said, go ahead and split the door apart so that I have two of them. And that way I can have the doors in the open position. I still have just the extra little bit of detail to add to each of these doors, and then they'll be ready to install. So as we build our models, we of course make lots of plans at the beginning as far as what we want to do, how we want to go through the process of building the model, and modifications that we want to make, etc. You've all been there. And as we go through the construction of our model, we sometimes have to make changes on the fly. And while I really like the way that these doors are coming out, one of the things that I noticed when I did set them into position so that they would be in their location is that when you do see the door on edge, it is just really, really thick. It is just a very, very thick door. It just does not look like it should. Now, one of the options that they do mention in the instructions for this kit is that these could potentially be sliding doors. Now, if I had them on the outside for a sliding door, I would need to have an additional bar going across the top that would be the rail that they would slide on. However, if I put them on the inside, and of course now it wants to fall over. If I put the door on the inside, then it can be a sliding door and not have to necessarily worry about the that upper rail, because you're just not going to end up seeing it. Even on this door here, looking through the window from a viewpoint on the standing at the layout, you wouldn't notice that that top rail is missing, that the door would slide on. This may seem like a little bit of a cheap way out, solving the problem. I'm not going to glue these in yet. I want to think about it some more. If you have a thought, please go ahead and put it into the comments. Sorry, I'm still thinking about it as I'm looking at it here as well, how I would want to go about gluing these in. But for the moment, I think I'm going to go that route to turn them into sliding doors. At this time, I want to add one more detail to the interior of the shop in the barrel manufacturing company. And I want to give a shout out to Mind Mount Models. At the Timonium Train Show, I was there and purchased from him one of his drill presses. And this is the drill press here. Please bear with me as I pick this up. And it's a very nice 3D print. Only thing is that if you take a look at the base of the drill press, you can see that it is all crooked and almost looks like some of it just didn't print or something. Something went wrong regardless. So no matter what the issue was, I contacted him and he was very gracious and sent me a brand new one. Still have it in the tree. I'm going to go ahead and get that cut out and show you what it looks like. So here's the new drill press. I don't know if this particular style of pedestal drill press is accurate to the 1920s. It fortunately won't be that big of a deal if it isn't period correct, because it's going to be in the background. It's going to be difficult to see. But it will give the impression that, hey, there's a drill press there for being able to do what it needs to do. So this is going to get painted and put into the model. So once again, thank you very much to Mind Mount Models for sending this, and I look forward to seeing you again and hopefully seeing some new items from you in the future. So the drill press has been painted and installed, so that's where that is now going to live. I have now also done some more detailing to the interior, adding a few more barrels, a couple more people. But I think at this point, as far as the shop area goes, I don't think I'm going to add any more details. What you're really going to see through the door here and through the windows really does give a good impression of there being some activity going on in this shop. So I think that's where I'm going to go ahead and leave this. So the next thing I need to do is to start dealing with the roofs, and I've also got the staircase that has to be built to go on the side here. So hopefully we'll be wrapping this up soon. I do, however, need to get a few figures for the interior of the office area. So I'll start looking around for those. So it's time to go ahead and start working on the corrugated roof. The kit is supplied with actual metal corrugated material. And I have already attached the first piece of the metal to the front long section of roof that will go onto the building. Now, I have nothing wrong with saying to you that this is the very first time I've ever done a corrugated metal roof using this kind of material. So This is some new territory for me. I know there's a lot of good information out there online as far as how to go about making the material look more natural and being able to get it all rusted. So for the rusting material, I've got a few different paints over here. From Ultimate, they have their weathering washing, and this is a rust from AK Interactive. I've got their crusted rust deposits. I also have a red-brown from Tamiya. And I'm sure as I look through my other paints, I will probably pull out a few others that I'm going to add onto this. I did make the decision to not cut the metal into small strips. The directions do actually say to cut them into 26-inch wide strips and then be able to glue them at 2-inch overhang intervals. After having just done this one piece and laying it over at that 2-inch overlap, you really can't see much of a difference, much of a height difference, especially if the corrugations really lay down into each other. So I figured at this scale, it's not really going to be that noticeable. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. So time to let this one dry and go ahead and get the other roof section glued up. So here's the corrugated material glued onto the roof. Nice brand new shiny roof. You know, the roofer's just left. Hasn't rained yet. Hasn't started to corrode and rust. So using the other piece that I have at the moment as a extra, I just did a first run at doing some rusting on it. I'm not very happy with it. I'm not seeing enough streaking and such. I mean, it really looks as exactly like I did. Using a sponge, just randomly placed the paint material on there. So I need to go back and re-watch a few videos and try some other techniques. I've got the other side that I can use, and I've also got some extra of this since I didn't do the corrugated wall panels as well. So I've definitely got some material I can practice on. So on to attempt number 2. So this is attempt number 2 at doing some rusting on the corrugated roofing. I went over this sheet with just some flat clear, just to knock off the super shiny surface of the corrugation. And then to do the coloring that I did here, I started out with just doing a carding trick with setting out my piece of paper here and just shifting it over each distance and putting in the paint to simulate the edges of each of the panels. And that came out, not too bad, a bit on the heavy side. I then went back with my light rust deposits, and I also used the Ultimate rust wash, and unfortunately the two really blended together, didn't really create some separate colors, so I'm going to need to try this again with putting a clear coat between each one and really seal it in. So getting there, it's getting a little better, and time to do another practice. So things are improving. This is attempt number 3 here. I've added to my arsenal of paints. I've pulled out my Optilung oil paints, Rust, Red Primer, Starship Filth, and Dark Mud to go along with the Burnt Sienna and the Earth Red, along with the light rust deposits, and of course the Ultimate Wash Rust. So what I did this time around was, of course, the corrugated metal had been clear coated to get rid of the shine. I then used the burnt sienna to, again, sort of try and create some panel lines for where the corrugated metal would be overlapped. Again, I don't think that at this scale really having it overlapped is really necessary. So from here, I then applied the rust wash and then let that completely dry, clear coated over that to seal it down. I then went ahead and put the light rust deposits on, and I think I put on way too much, honestly. I should have gone a lot more sparing with that. But regardless, I put that on and then clear coated over that. And then finally, I've been playing around with the oils and the terpenoid to be able to start trying to create some streaking coming down through here. So I've got some of the red primer in here. There's some of the rust coming down through here. The darker that you see in here is the Starship Filth. And then there's some dark mud in here as well. So I think it's getting better, but time to do another attempt. So I'm very much ready to have this roof done and glued into place. One of the things I decided to do on this next practice run was just to start with the base rust wash, put that on, and then try and go very light on the amount of extra colors. It's definitely far better than what I've done so far. It still definitely needs a little bit of work. So on the dock roof, I've gone ahead and put the base rust color on, and up on the roof of the actual office area, I've got that base rust on, and over the shop, obviously, I still have to get the corrugated metal glued into place. One of the things that I did was between each layer, I did put another clear coat over it just to seal it down. That seems to also be helping as well. So getting there, I think it definitely looks nice with even just the straight rust color. But I would like to very much have the extra colors in there. This would be an older building. It's not seen a lot of upgrades because of the Great Depression, etc. So I do want to have a little bit more of a rusty, weathered look on the roof. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and leave these roof pieces as you see them here, at least for now. Maybe once I have the model closer to done, or once I have it on the layout, I may come back and try and add a little bit more to it. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and just set these into place. So I'll be right back and show you how that looks. So here are the roofs put on. I do have a little bit of touch-up paint work to do on the section here. And the roof of the office area is not attached. I'm not going to glue that down at this point because I want to be able to still add some other interior detail to that. The large roof here, I need to cut out the center section for the cupola vent area, and of course still get all of that on. And of course the interior light needs to get glued to the bottom of this part of the roof as well. So it's still quite a bit to do, a little bit more weathering to do, and of course I haven't even begun to tackle the staircase that goes on here as well. So still a lot to be done. See you next time on this.